do you think?
Honey, it's beautiful.
Honey, it's beautiful.
In Charlie Hoover.
Oh, yeah, baby. Great. Now get up on that bed. Oh!
TV history is filled with bad shows, but 1991, it was something special. A bizarre police sitcom starring an Emmy winner, a talking baby voiced by Tony Danza, a 12-inch Sam Kinison screaming life advice at a guy, and CBS thought a reformed thief running hotel security was crime drama gold. These are TV failures so bad, networks practically erased them from existence. Weird concepts, big stars who couldn't save them, and future celebrities who got their start on absolute disasters. Here's an industry fact you probably didn't know though. 1991 was the year Fox officially became a full-week network, which explains why they were taking such bizarre risks trying to fill their schedule. The total development cost of these 10 failed shows is estimated at over $40 million in 1991 dollars, which is more than $80 million today. Several were rushed into production to fill unexpected gaps in network schedules. Oh, and did I mention that in 1991 Fox gave us a sitcom about nuclear annihilation with a laugh track? Yeah, we're gonna get to that one. But at number 10, we have Baby Talk from ABC. Now, you remember Look Who's Talking, right? The huge hit with talking babies? So obviously ABC thought a talking baby sitcom couldn't miss. Well, they thought wrong. The backstage drama trumped anything on screen. George Clooney starred in the first season pre-ER fame, but actually left after just 7 episodes. He later called it one of the worst career moves he ever made. Then they basically replaced everyone, including the mom. They did, however, bring in Scott Baio. So Charles in Charge was to the rescue, right? Well, maybe not. Here's an interesting fact. Tony Danza wasn't even the first choice for the baby's voice. William Hickey, the raspy-voiced Don from Prizzi's Honor, recorded the pilot, but was replaced before the show aired.
No one would have dared unless he'd come from us.
Can you imagine that voice coming from a baby? The show cycled through 3 different creative teams in just 2 seasons, which was unusually chaotic even for network TV. Critics called it infantile in all the wrong ways, and despite being paired with ABC's successful TGIF lineup, this Look Who's Not Watching disaster couldn't survive its constant recasting and cringeworthy concept. But if you thought Tony Danza voicing a baby was bad, wait until you see what got greenlit next. Number 9, Dark Shadows, NBC. NBC's revival of this cult 1960s vampire soap opera sure sound like a sure bet in the post-Twin Peaks era. With Ben Cross as vampire Barnabas Collins, what could go wrong? Well, it turns out, timing. What most people don't know is that NBC went all in on this remake, spending an unprecedented $1 million per episode, an enormous budget for early 90s television. They even brought back several original cast members for cameo roles, trying to appeal to the cult audience of the original series. However, in early 1991, the Gulf War news coverage dominated TV, and the series was preempted repeatedly. At one point, 3 entire weeks passed between episodes. Viewers simply couldn't follow the complicated storylines with such massive gaps in coverage. NBC staked this revival faster than a vampire caught in daylight, and after just 12 episodes, the show was gone for good, despite a loyal cult following that never got a fair chance. Even shows with big budgets and dedicated fans weren't immune to bad timing in 1991. And speaking of shows with passionate followings, our next entry eventually found its audience, just not when it first aired. Number 8, Eerie, Indiana, NBC. Now, while Twin Peaks captivated adults with surreal horror, NBC attempted a family-friendly version of weird small-town mysteries with Eerie, Indiana. The show followed 13-year-old Marshall Teller in a bizarre town where dogs read, mothers preserve their children in Tupperware, and Elvis flips burgers. What's fascinating is that the show was created by Jose Rivera, who later became an Oscar-nominated screenwriter for The Motorcycle Diaries. One standout episode revealed that all dogs in town were actually highly intelligent beings operating a secret society, complete with doggy business suits and their own newspaper. Despite clever writing and imaginative stories, NBC scheduled Eerie, Indiana in an early Sunday evening slot that failed to attract the right audience. It struggled with low ratings despite strong reviews, leading to its cancellation after one season. Cancelled after 19 episodes, it later found cult status through Disney Channel reruns, and then Fox Kids actually picked it up for their lineup, giving it a second life. It's now considered ahead of its time. Its initial failure speaks more to network mishandling than to the quality of the show itself. Did you catch this show during its original run, or did you discover it during reruns? And which show deserved a second chance more, this one or Dark Shadows? However, while this show was ahead of its time, our next one was just bad. Number 7, Charlie Hoover, Fox. Now, if you remember one bizarre show from 1991, it's probably Charlie Hoover. Tim Matheson played a middle-aged man whose id manifested as a 12-inch tall Sam Kinison perched on his shoulders screaming terrible advice, and yes, this was real. Tragically, this was one of Kinison's last projects before his death in a car accident in 1992. The premise was allegedly inspired by the classic angel devil on the shoulder concept from cartoons, but with Kinison's trademark screaming comedy style. The problem was his famously profane stand-up act couldn't translate to network television. He was essentially a tiger without teeth. To create the tiny Sam Kinison character, they used blue screen technology that was cutting edge for 1991. On top of that, they had to film Kinison separately and then combine the footage with the main scenes afterward. This made Charlie Hoover one of the most technically complicated comedy shows of its time. The concept itself was too weird even for Fox, the network that gave us Married with Children. The show lasted just 7 episodes before Fox pulled the plug on this strange experiment, but I want to know from you, which of these first 4 shows do you think had the most bizarre concept? Let us know in the comments section below. Now, if you're enjoying this deep dive into TV history, hit that like button and subscribe. Your support helps us bring more forgotten shows from the TV graveyard back into the spotlight. Number 6, Good and Evil, ABC. Created by Susan Harris, the genius behind The Golden Girls, Good and Evil starred Terry Garr as the good-hearted sister battling her evil cosmetics executive sister, played by Margaret Whitten. A pre-famed Seth Green appeared as Denise's son, probably wishing he was anywhere else. The show's comedy included jokes about disabilities and physical impairments that were considered inappropriate even in 1991. Despite its impressive pedigree, ABC axed this misfire after just 6 episodes. Proof that even TV legends can spectacularly misread the cultural moment. Number 5, Pacific Station, NBC. Emmy winner Robert Guillaume starred in this misguided police sitcom after finding success on Benson. Guillaume had just recovered from a stroke when filming the show, making his commitment to the project all that more impressive. The writers attempted to recreate the magic of Barney Miller, a successful police station sitcom from the 1970s, but failed to capture that show's smart writing and character development. Richard Libertini, known from the Fletch movies, co-starred in the pilot, but his character was completely rewritten after testing poorly with audiences. Guillaume played a by-the-book detective surrounded by wacky officers and painful stereotypes. Behind the scenes, he reportedly clashed with producers over the reliance on cheap gags instead of more intelligent humor. One episode featured a Japanese tourist mixing up L's and R's, humor that felt dated even for 1991. NBC finally pulled the plug after 13 excruciating episodes. Speaking of network shows that missed the mark completely, CBS was about to make some really questionable decisions of their own. Number 4, Teech, CBS. Teech starred Phil Lewis as a music teacher at an all-white prep school. Now, if he looks familiar, that's because he later became famous as Mr. Mosby in Disney's Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and yes, we are talking about that guy. What could have been a thoughtful show about race instead delivered cringeworthy stereotypes that felt outdated even in 1991. CBS executives reportedly kept pushing for broader comedy and over-the-top culture clash moments while avoiding any real look at racial issues. In one particularly awful episode, Teech had to teach a group of privileged white students about jazz, leading to painful scenes where the students attempted to get funky while Teech looked on in exasperation. The studio audience's uncomfortable laughter says it all. The result was a show that was both boring and offensive. Lewis deserved better material, but would later find success on Disney Channel and as a TV director. CBS canceled Teech after just 4 episodes. Now, were you one of the ones that actually watched this back in 1991, or did your brain mercifully block it out? Now, if you thought Teech was out of touch, wait until you see what CBS thought would be prime time gold. Number 2, Good Sports, CBS. Good Sports reunited love story stars Ryan O'Neal and Farrah Fawcett as bickering co-anchors of a sports news program. With that level of star power, what could possibly go wrong? Well, pretty much everything. What's interesting is that the show was created by Alan Spencer, who had cult success with the police parody Sledgehammer. CBS paid enormous salaries to secure both stars, hoping that their real-life romantic relationship would translate to on-screen magic. Instead, the opposite happened. Crew members reported that O'Neal and Fawcett often had trouble remembering their lines when working together. One critic memorably wrote, "O'Neal and Fawcett generate less chemistry here than in separate rooms." The only cast member who received consistent praise was Lane Smith, who later played Perry White in Lois and Clark, arguably the least famous actor on the show. The series couldn't decide if it was a workplace comedy, romantic comedy, or sports satire. After 15 episodes of declining ratings, CBS finally conceded defeat, proving that even big-name stars couldn't save a fundamentally flawed concept. But as bad as these TV shows were, none of them can compare to our final pick, possibly the most bizarre TV concept of 1991. Number 1, Whoops, Fox. And finally, we have Fox's Whoops, a show where a nuclear apocalypse wipes out civilization, leaving 6 random survivors to rebuild society, all while a laugh track plays in the background. The premise combined the bleakest scenario imaginable with sitcom conventions. These survivors fought radioactive monsters and acid rain while delivering punchlines. One episode featured a man-sized mutant chicken attacking their farm before Family Guy made it cool. Another had talking vegetables that grew to human size. They even did a post-apocalyptic beauty pageant where the only contestant automatically won. In 1991, as the Cold War was ending, Fox created a comedy where humanity was nearly wiped out, complete with radiation jokes and mutant animals. Audiences didn't laugh, and it was canceled after just 10 episodes as it attempted to turn nuclear holocaust into light entertainment, making Married with Children look like a sophisticated drama by comparison. Thanks for watching. We've covered 10 of 1991's biggest TV disasters, but we know there were more. Did we miss any failed shows from 1991 that you actively remember watching? Let us know in the comment section below, and be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss our next video exploring more forgotten TV history.